1,000 is pretty much what's left over from 4,000. I, over the years, accumulated Polaroids which were generated as part of the process of making photographs and also as objects in and of themselves. At some point, I decided to do a project with them and started making the Polaroids for the project itself. And possibly a third of them are made specifically for the project. And it took me years, really, to finally finish it. I would say it probably is a 20-year span at most. Putting them into some sort of order was the next problem, and the original idea was to assign each one a number and scramble those numbers in a computer and have that generate the sequencing. The reason for that was that as I got scans back of the Polaroids, they were on sheets, and I gave them to the scanner with in no particular order, and they came back in strange associations and weird and pairings, almost significant pairings that were randomly created. So I thought, maybe that's in some way the way a lot of life and even art functions, and why not do it intentionally? Like, intentionally create chance. So I thought it was like, well, that's a clever idea. But in the end, like most clever ideas, it's, you wake up the next morning and, you wish you hadn't smoked that pot. I started to really go through the process of putting them in an order that made sense to me, which in some way, at this point in my life, involves a lot of associations which are illogical, because as you get older, I think you trust your instincts a lot more. 1 + 2 = 3 is far too simple arithmetic for a project like this. Often the reason you did it is so simple and basic that it's almost invisible. And to point that out does not reduce the complexity of the situation, but it makes you think about decision making rather than feel the emotional, psychological ebb and flow that is the point of it. There is actually meant to be a psychological, visceral, emotional effect, and once you get too much into how that's done, it's very hard to achieve it. It's like, trying to have sex and thinking about the instruction manual.